Nashville, Tennessee, of course, is known for country music, but there's a lot more than just music happening in downtown Nashville, at least close by. The Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway host to so many iRacing league races, iRacing official races, and so much more. And of course, has the All-American 400 every fall in the real world, and so much more. I believe Arca was just there not so long ago. And hey, maybe one of these days we see NASCAR back at Nashville. Who knows? But good to have you all watching here on Pit Stop TV. Welcome back to Pit Stop TV. It's been a couple of days since my voice has been on here and since we've been back with each other here, Zach. But good to be back for the iRacing Cars Late Model Stock Tour, round number 11 now. Alex McCullum with a big-time points lead. We'll talk about that in a moment. But Late Model Stocks here at Nashville, it's going to be an interesting time, and this is a really interesting racetrack for these kinds of race cars. A lot of grip, a lot of speed, but this track, it's a lot more narrow, actually, than it looks like. It looks like it's got these 4 grooves that you can run, but really there is maybe 1.5 lanes of racing room here, and it runs out quick.
Yeah, this track is just it's so technical, and it's really easy for a driver to end up slipping up here. I mean, just watching qualifying, a lot of these guys are just tapping the wall a little bit and finding little areas that they're just making mistakes, spinning out here and there. You talked about Alex McCullum having a big-time points lead. He's actually not here tonight. Ryan Kuhn is in the session, though, and he is poised to try to take away that points lead from Alex McCullum. These guys are just wrapping up qualifying, and we're getting ready to hop into this one.
You see the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway details there at the bottom of your screen. Good to have you all watching here, as I mentioned, on Pit Stop TV. Always is a pleasure here with us. Take a look at the track map briefly. Pit Road does nearly wrap around this racetrack, at least with the extension of the entry and exit lanes. The blend line there out of turn number 2, of course, taking a while there. But its qualifying has about 30 seconds to go. Let's take a look at our point standings coming into this evening. Alex McCullum, way beyond the rest. And this is just about insurmountable at this point. We've got Landon Rapp catching up to Ryan Kuhn, and it all comes down to averages, Zach. And that's what I think is hard to get a grasp on just from looking at the stats. Starts. Ryan Kuhn has run more than 100 races, more than Alex McCullum. 116 races more than Alex coming into this one. Make that 117 now with this start that he'll be making in just a moment. And he has more than 100 wins more. The stat line is insane. You can even look at Landon Rapp. There we go. Who's got 3 times as many starts, nearly 3 times as many wins. It's literally just a game of averages. That's what it comes down to. That's why Alex McCullum is leading the point standings. I'm not sure what Ryan Kuhn has done to put himself that far down on the average with that kind of winning percentage, but something didn't quite align. He's 287 points back, and that's what we know, at least. That's what this tells us. It's a crazy set of numbers to look at, but that is the standings.
Yeah, it could just be anything like missing a race or two, or just qualifying not too well and finishing a little bit down the order. It's anything that can set those averages off, but Ryan Kuhn would need an absolute miracle of a week to be able to catch up, as we are really just not too far along from week 13, and that's when all of this starts to wrap up. And
it wraps up week 12.
Oh yeah, week 12. It wraps. This is literally the penultimate race. We got one more race coming in to next week, and then that's it. So it's make or break time for Ryan Kuhn.
And for those of you out there watching and listening, and Tyler Payne especially, if you guys want another race covered on week 12, want one to close out the week, you've just got to let us know. Go ahead and talk to us. Maybe we can sort something out, because that would be, I think, the perfect cherry on top. But you see cars rolling off of the grid. Let's go ahead and meet your starting grid for this evening's 50 lapper. On pole, Ryan Kuhn, as he does so often, puts the number 72 on pole position, qualifying fastest of the bunch. Jeb Jones will start from second for EPI. Matthew Boniface from third place this evening. How about Joel Smith? The EPI cars have got it down this evening. Joel Smith started from fourth. Reagan Parent, meanwhile, a big ITZR star, will start from fifth position. Adam Ricci will start from sixth. Then it's Peyton Howell, Blake Thronberg, row number 4. Row 5, DJ Powell and Kyle Terzak.
Rolling on down the rest of the order, Jesse Henderson and RS Center is going to be running in the 11th and 12th position. Caden Anderson and Jimmy I do not know how to pronounce that last name.
That's a new one, Gauker?
Gauker. I'm not sure. But he's going to be rolling off P14 in the number 14, and Thomas Hazlitt is going to wrap up your 15-car field as we get ready to come down and take the green flag here.
Yes, the green flag coming shortly. A quick check to your weather conditions. 74 degrees in the air, 76 degrees on track as we get ready for 50 laps. Just like that, up out of turn number 4, green flag flies, and we are racing at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. 50 laps the distance. Immediately trouble for DJ Powell in the back, but up front, side-by-side racing for second, third, fourth positions as we fight back down into turn 1. Reagan Parent moving on the bottom side of that 17 car.
Yeah, these guys are still side-by-side right here for third, just trying to find a way to settle back in line, and they are, big time loose, big wiggle. He's going to save it. But you have got Joel Smith right down there on the bottom just trying to plug that hole.
That was the 11 of Jeb Jones getting free out of turn 4 last time through. They're hanging on to things now, though, as they fight for fourth position. Jeb Jones and Joel Smith. Joel Smith rolling the bottom side and noses ahead at the line, and Jeb then noses back ahead at the line. I love this ebb and flow at a place like Nashville. They just keep going back and forth as Peyton Howell now has the run up with these guys. Good to see Peyton Howell in this race. Not a name we've said yet this season, but going to a lot of short tracks these days. I believe it was at Wilkesboro this past week. Frequents VIR and some other tracks up in the Virginias. Good to see him in a top split session this evening as he's ahead of Blake Thronberg, who goes on through to the 7th position over Adam Ricci. And oh boy, great fight here. Kyle Turzak now to the inside of the 73 car.
Still side by side rolling through turn 3. You can see how easy it is to lose spots here on the outside line. It's that bottom line that really hooks well, especially for these late model stock cars. But you can see how they're just kind of running that middle lane and sticking the car just like about half the lane off the yellow line. That's where really most of the grip is. You can see him cut down a little bit into the corners. But DJ Powell right here, he is all the way back 14.5 seconds off the leader. I'm not sure what happened to him, Andrew, but he has got some ground to make up right now.
Another guy who's got ground to make up, how about Matthew Boniface, currently running second, 1.2, 1.3 or so seconds behind the race leader Ryan Kuhn, still sporting that throwback paint scheme we saw and loved last week at New Smyrna Speedway. This is an interesting position for Boniface to be in, this high up in a late model race. Usually we see him dominate down in Legends, but this is definitely showing that he's got some pace even on a late model stock car.
Yeah, EPI has him hooked up with the setups tonight, and he seems to be running really well as Joel Smith has moved into the 3rd spot and is trying to hunt him down and take that 2nd spot away.
Yeah, Reagan Parent had to give one spot up.
That was Reagan Parent actually who hit the wall.
And I mentioned Reagan Parent, a big-time name down in the ITZR in the zone racing late model ranks, and they run on Mondays and Tuesdays. So much like Alex McCullum, when he runs here in the SOF split on a Monday night, this guy is pulling double duty. He's going to run this race, of course, and as soon as this is over, he's going to register for the In the Zone Racing, I believe, Elite Performance Industries late model challenger race. Hopefully those guys at ITZR are proud of me for hopefully remembering that series name correctly. So he's got a lot of work going on this evening in a late model stock car. I don't think they're headed to Nashville tonight, but they were recently, as that was a big move from Jeb Jones to the inside of car 17. These guys are definitely getting racy right around the top 5 cutoff.
Yeah, they made a little bit of contact. Saw Jeb Jones have a little wiggle, and good job to Peyton Howell actually for checking up, not causing a big time wreck. But these guys are still hounding on each other. And this is all for just the 4th place position. You can see, taking a look to the inside right here. Underneath Jeb Jones, Peyton Howell is not going to get it done just yet. Going to have to fall back in line.
Of course, our race details for the evening as we watch this battle now with Howell and Thronberg take place. This is a 50-lap race, open setup, no cautions, as this is a D-class series. But they do get one fast repair in case of caution, or in case of crash, I should say, as Turzak bullies his way by the 22 car, or at least tries to there out of turn number 2, and now finally does complete that pass. And Zach, it's going to heavy hitters. There they go. They crash. Reagan Parent up in the fence off the nose of Jeb Jones. They're trying to fit in line, and they get sorted back out, but man, that's a lot of damage to the 17 car.
that is Peyton Howell's night, and even a chance to win out and done. Doesn't seem like he's got too much damage, but he'll be able to keep going.
Reagan Parent.
Might have to take it to pit road.
That was Reagan Parent in the 17 getting turned around. We'll take a look here. Jeb Jones gets to the back end of him in 3 and 4 and just kind of turns about the racetrack. That's how it goes. Really nothing either driver did wrong at all. Of course, certainly nothing that Reagan did wrong. He just ends up getting hit ever so slightly by Jeb down there in the center of the corner. It's just a weird spot.
He got a bit of a run, and he just put the bumper to him, and I guess he wasn't expecting it to hook him.
He just got to the throttle earlier, Jeb did.
I feel like you can agree with me on this. He did hit him kind of square, so it shouldn't have been a hook and a spin. It should have just kind of been a, muscle him up the racetrack a little bit.
One more look. Listen. Throttle there. He just got back to the throttle ever so slightly earlier and got in the back of Reagan Parent. Contact there with Thronberg once he got back in line. But thankfully, they sorted things out. No further crashing, although there is some great racing between these guys. Caden Anderson, in fact, down to the inside of Blake Thronberg, now seeing it live. As we come back to your live picture, Jeb Jones, 8th position.
He's trying to regain whatever spots he lost. You can see a little bit of right front damage there on that 11 car. Number 10 in the sim, but 11 on that car. Custom numbers on that car right now, just trying to see what he can do with it. You can see Thronberg with a little bit of right side damage as well from when he got hit by Jeb Jones. And, they're just trying to hang on, see what they can do with these cars. It gets a little bit tight when you get that front end damage, so they're just trying to see what they can do to manage it.
While we take this one in and near halfway already, I do want to mention, of course, our social media channels wide open. As always, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Kick. We're streaming to 5 of the 6. We don't stream to we don't stream to Instagram at the moment. Of course, we stream to everything else: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Kick. Follow along, subscribe, whatever it may be, on the suitable platform. We certainly would appreciate it here at Pits.tv. It helps us grow. That helps leagues grow. That helps groups like EPI grow as well. Oh, RS Center. That was scary for a moment, racing with Thomas Hazlitt, who's got a new paint scheme on that car. And how about Jimmy Goker racing with Adam Ricci? They sort that out as well here in the top 10. Further up the road, Kyle Terzak is reeling in Peyton Howell ever so slightly, Zach. And this is a battle that we have very much not had our finger on the pulse of, but it's getting exciting, I think. And more so if you look at it as a numbers game. Terzak slowly chipping away, getting closer and closer, hanging right behind that 4-car Peyton Howell, and I think he'll be within striking distance here soon.
Yeah, he's just been reeling them in ever so slightly every couple of laps. I've been watching the ticker here a little bit, seeing how these guys are running. Guys who are also trying to battle with each other, Matthew Boniface and Joel Smith, they have been reeling each other in a little bit. You can see just up the road from this onboard with Kyle Terzak that Joel Smith is trying to hunt him down, but Kyle Terzak, he's trying to find a way to Peyton Howell on board with Joel Smith. He's cut that gap down from about 6/10 to anywhere between 5 to 4 right now. That's been over the last 2 to 3 laps, and he's just trying to find any way he can to get up there to Boniface. We are at halfway, about 24 to go coming into the line. Oh, we got
Hazlitt hard on the outside wall, nosed in there, and of course no caution. Hopefully he can get himself righted here quickly. This is a really odd spot to be in. There goes Ryan Kuhn, and he will tow. I think that was a wise decision given the circumstance there for Thomas Hazlitt. We'll take a look at it for car 57, though. I'm sorry, I'm used to seeing Justin Hazlitt in the field. This is a different driver. Also out of the Virginias, I believe. That's a weird spot. There was netcode, yes, but that's a weird situation, I think, for both drivers. That, I think could have been avoided.
Rolling side by side through 1 and 2. Everything looks clean, and coming down the backstretch, Hazlitt gets clear. And, yeah, that didn't look like it needed to be any form of contact. They looked like they were going to be able to just race it in there and be fine, but that's iRacing sometimes. It just detects that there's going to be a wreck, and unfortunately there wasn't.
They probably would have hit regardless, as you see him there in the pit lane. They probably would have made contact no matter what. Hazlitt was coming down the racetrack, and there was already the 22-car RS Center there to the inside. They were going to meet in the middle at some point. As we take a look on board with Reagan Parent now in 11th position, Zach, after the crash he had. He got back rolling quickly, and is salvaging a decent run out of this. Of course, he wants to stay in it for his safety rating and iRating, at least minimize the impacts. And certainly you're seeing the effects of that. He's past Jeb Jones now, on by Jesse Henderson and DJ Powell. Honestly, all things considered, this isn't too bad.
Not too bad. I'm honestly surprised. I did not see Jeb Jones really drop down the running order. He was up there with those guys for a little bit, and yeah, just weird to see him just all the way down there now. But Parent has really regained some of his footing and has been able to pass through these cars. And hey, if a few more incidents come around, he might be able to get it. As I know, on-track battles are starting to heat up. Turzak has kind of lost a little bit on Howell, but Joel Smith has worked that down to about 0.2 of a second to Matthew Boniface. You see on board here, taking a look up the inside. Parent is trying to get that spot away from the 14.
And then right behind these guys, you saw Jeb Jones and Jesse Henderson back here for 12th and 13th. We'll focus up the road, though, because Boniface and Smith are racing for the second and third positions, and this is some big-time stuff for these guys. Both a couple of Legends aces. They must feel pretty solid about their Legends points then, coming over to run the SOF split here for late models and boost their iRating, safety rating, and, of course, their late model standings up a little bit. I like that for these guys, especially here late in the season, boost themselves up a little bit as we go on into these last couple of weeks. Of course, we'll bring up the schedule quickly here and highlight the fact that we are in week number 11. We have this week and next week, and then the season is over. And, of course, we'll have tonight's SOF race and then no more races on the channel this week for week 11, and maybe we throw in an extra one there for week 12 at USA International Speedway, but that's where things end, and a classic track for these guys in short track racing on the sim.
So the USA, we saw a little bit of that in D-Line Racing.
We did.
A little bit of a week ago. So if that's any consolation of what these guys are going to be getting in for, it's going to be an interesting show, to say the least, as Joel Smith is taking looks up the inside. He's putting pressure on Matthew Boniface, and he's going to look up that inside line, put it to his quarter panel, and that is Joel Smith's position done and gone. See you later, Matthew Boniface.
I love that these guys race so respectfully, right? Joel obviously was coming up, put his car to the inside, kind of obviously showed that he had position. Matthew Boniface recognized that at this point in time, Joel simply has more pace and allowed him to go on through. That is respectful stuff there, as Kyle Turzak is being reeled in now with 11 laps to go by Caden Anderson. I say being reeled in. He's already been reeled in. Anderson is there.
Yeah, it's about to get a little dicey. You can see right on the back bumper, gets a really good exit coming off of turn 4. Anderson may take a look going into 1. No, he's going to stay on the back bumper. He's biding his time, waiting for something to happen. Look at him hugging that yellow line.
Caden Anderson bringing the heat here in the last few laps at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. It was 10 laps to go. This will be 9 laps to go, this time out of turn 4 and across the line. Sure enough, 9 laps to go. There goes Anderson to the inside, painting that yellow line up the racetrack a little bit in center. Oh, so close there to turn 2. Still fighting for this position. This is 5th on the racetrack. Kyle Turzak defending. Caden Anderson, he wants it.
He is pinching him all the way down to that yellow line, not giving him any room, as Thronberg and Ritchie are battling right behind them for the 7th position. Lots of on-track battles going on. It's a shame we can't keep an eye on all of them, but right here is all the action between Caden Anderson and Kyle Turzak, as they are still just fighting it out for that 5th place position. Turzak up the racetrack just a little bit. That's going to allow Caden Anderson to close that gap a little more.
Still racing tough here now, single file. Blake Thronberg, Adam Ricci, here's the battle for 7th and 8th. Ricci gets down to the inside of the 22 car, reaching for that spot. Had to throw that one in there at some point. The 73 car really trying to fight down the racetrack, wrestle that car down there. At this point in the race, that's going to be tough on the tires if it hasn't been already. Really pushing that car to its edge.
Especially since you have RS Center who's right behind them, just waiting to see if something's going to happen, if he can pick up another spot and make something work for him.
Thronberg got the fence that time out of the corner. Open the doors, side by side. 4 laps to go. 5 laps to go, rather, this time by for these guys.
Thronberg was sideways coming off of turn 4, and it looks like Adam Ricci is going to stick it on that yellow line. Can he clear him coming off of turn 2? No, they are still side by side going into turn 3.
Look at this onboard from the right side of Ricci's car. Down into turn 3. 4 laps to go this time by. And out of turn 4, maybe is he clear? No, not yet clear. Is car 73 over car 22. Thronberg going to have to try and slide in behind him, maybe sideways up out of turn 2, and the 222s collect each other, and Thronberg backwards on the backstretch is going to try and get that car turned around. There's Ryan Kuhn, your race leader, and Thronberg finally will get himself reset, turned back around as Caden Anderson has a move here, and Kyle Terzak coming to 2 to go.
Taking a look up the inside once again as Thronberg finally gets it turned around and going on the racetrack. And they are still fighting each other so hard with 2 laps to go in this race. Nobody giving an inch right now, just trying to find any possible way that they can to get spots here as we are coming to the white flag presented by Whiplash Sim Cams. 1 to go for Ryan Kuhn.
Yeah, half a lap ahead. Ryan Kuhn already has that white flag through turns 1 and 2 now, and car 72 is going to power away to yet another race victory this season in the iRacing Cars Late Model Stock Tour Week 11 SOF Split. It's going to go to the Mainer, Ryan Kuhn. Car 72, a big win this evening. I say Mainer. I realize I think it's Massachusetts right after. So Massachusetts driver, I believe. Ryan Kuhn wins. Right there you see the line. Caden Anderson got the move at the last minute. We'll take a look at how that happened for 5th place, but Ryan Kuhn out to lunch and then some.
Hate to cut you off there, Andrew, but just an amazing race between these two. I wanted to keep an eye on it, and you can see here coming to the white flag. He was already looking up the inside and going into turn 1. Just ever so slight contact gets him up the racetrack a little bit.
Watching this last lap for these 2 drivers. Anderson down to the inside in 3. And that was just enough. It's a game of inches in racing. All you got to do is get down there once and move that car up off of the racing line, and suddenly you've got yourself a very much open door to go on by and take that spot. For Ryan Kuhn, he didn't have to pass anybody. Goes to victory lane once again. Let's take a look at the unofficial race results after 50 laps of racing here in Nashville. And Ryan Kuhn, RKM, they take another one. Car 72, of course, has something that very few have had this season. He and, of course, Alex McCullum trading off wins after wins. Pretty much week after week, they trade off. Michael Smith, Joel Smith, whatever you want to call him, will go 2nd place this evening. A really solid run. That's cars 1 and 2, by the way, by iRating in positions 1 and 2 when it's all said and done. And I think that says something for each of those drivers holding off any of those potential challengers. And, of course, a big shout out, a big, I think, round of applause due for Matthew Boniface, a very young driver up there with the best of late model stock racing in this case. Ends up 3rd, was 2nd for a long time after the drop of the green flag, ends up 3rd when it's all said and done. Still a really solid day for him over Peyton Howell and Caden Anderson, the rest of your top 5. Kyle Terzak, Adam Ricci, they complete your top 7 over RS Center. Reagan Parent, by the way, back up to 9th. He's got another race going on here in a minute for In the Zone Racing. Solid run there in P9, and Jimmy Goker, they're rounding out your top 10.
And rolling on down through the rest of the order, Jesse Henderson rounds out in 11th. He is the last car on the lead lap, and then you have DJ Powell 1 lap down. Jeb Jones 1 lap down after getting involved with a few incidents. Blake Throenberg ended up going a 1 lap down there at the end after that contact, and him just sliding sideways, getting loose coming off of turn 2. And then Thomas Hazlitt, your only driver to DNF out of this race, 25 laps down after he made contact from that net code and was sent into the turn 3 wall. Andrew, honestly, a solid race. We were able to go through it clear as day, and Ryan Kuhn obviously walked away with it, but it was just an incredible race, honestly.
It was definitely a good one, and we've seen that over the course of the season. I don't think we've had a bad race yet, and I think it's going to be rather difficult to have a bad race when you have this kind of setup. Of course, it's the best of the best. Sometimes in leagues, I'm not going to lie, you get kind of a culmination, a mix of all kinds of skill levels. In official racing, you're pretty much bound to always get the cream of the crop in top split. Yes, you can get some series that split less at certain time slots, but especially this SOF split at 8:15 Eastern on a Monday night for open setup racing, you're destined to get the best of the best that sign up for that race. We got that once again this evening, as we always do, and it made for good racing. That's just how it goes. These guys are so good in these late models. They know where to put the car. They know the balance of the car, the limits of the car. For the most part, still you'll see some mistakes and some crashes happen. That's, of course, bound to happen.
Yeah, it's just all you can expect when it comes to racing sometimes. And like you said, Andrew, we got one more race left. We got Lakeland USA International Speedway. I'm going to say it just right now, just to get it out of the way, because I feel like it's worth noting. Next Monday is Memorial Day. I feel like, maybe we might have a little bit of less racers joining in due to just spending time with families, enjoying the holiday. But it's still a great time to be able to run in here and gain solid iRating and safety rating and just, be able to take advantage of just whatever you can with any positions you can get on track.
Yeah, Memorial Day is an interesting one because it's so ingrained in racing at this point. Even F1, of course, F1 doesn't celebrate Memorial Day here in the United States. They have no reason to. They just happen to always run Monaco on this weekend, and of course that lines up with the Indianapolis 500 and Coke 600 at this point. It is the premier racing day. I feel like premier race day
for racing.
Yeah, there you go. The premier race day, the greatest day in racing, whatever you want to call it, for any motorsport fan worldwide. You've got 3 really fantastic races, spectacles for sure. So that weekend, it's weird, right? It's so ingrained in racing. Of course, the real world, I guess, brick and mortar, if you will, Cars Late Model Stock Tour is going to Tri-County this weekend, so they're going to have a big weekend Friday and Saturday nights. It's just a racing weekend. I think we'll still see most of these guys. I think maybe we'll see 1 or 2 drops taken next week that are a little unexpected, but of course, they have the rest of the week to pick up and run races, just like McCullum. I'm sure he's running more races this week. Might have just gone and run Legends. That might be part of it. I think that's something we should consider. He's very much a guy that it could be trying to go for both. And he did say last week he's pretty much done. After this season, he's retiring, at least for a while. Maybe he's trying to go out with a bang and go for 2 championships in one season. Who knows? But we'll take a look at our upcoming broadcast here at Pit Stop TV. It's a compelling list of 3 for the next week on the sim. Next up, we go to Norway on Thursday evening. Some extra prep time for us these next couple of days with no broadcast. We're going to Rudskogen Motor Center, a brand new track for us here at Pit Stop TV. That is exciting to me. The Porsche Cup car is going to make for a fun one. Already, track limits are all the talk of the town, along with slowdowns. So if you want to watch drivers struggle with white lines on pavement, yeah, you're going to want to tune in on Thursday evening. It's going to be a lot of fun. Sunday, we take the Radical SR8s to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, right in the middle, by the way, of the whole trio of races, the Indy 500 and everything else happening. 1:30 Eastern, Sunday afternoon, May the 28th. Then Monday evening, we do go to USA International Speedway with the Cars Late Model Stock Tour here on iRacing.com, and of course presented by RaceEPI.com, powered by the shop. I'm very much excited, as always, to go to USA International Speedway. It's going to be a lot of fun. Going to round out a championship here shortly. It's looking like it'll still go the way of Alex McCullum, but it's certainly going to be compelling to the end.
Absolutely, and there's so many great places to follow along with Pit Stop TV and keep up with all the racing that we have going on here. You've got Facebook.com/PitStopTV, Instagram.com/Pit_Stop_TV, Twitter.com/PitStopTV_, Twitch.tv/Pit_Stop_TV, YouTube.com/PitStopTV1, and Kick.com, our newest platform to catch all the streaming action on. Kick.com/PitStopTV1, and we just got so much great racing coming up, especially with the holiday right around the corner. So many great things going on with Pit Stop TV, and you don't want to miss all this action.
It was a fun one this evening at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, as it always is, but we will see you next time. USA International Speedway next up for the iRacing Cars Late Model Stock Tour. Otherwise, for us at the channel, next up is Thursday evening, the North American Racing League from Rudskogen Motor Center, a brand new free track for all members on iRacing. It's going to be exciting. Make sure to tune in 8:30 Eastern on Thursday night. We will see you there. Thanks again for watching. For myself and Zach Murders in the booth, we'll see you next time.